Ano?
The Project Control by J.B. Erwela and Franz Gabion. Project Control. Project controls is a process that encompasses the resources, procedures, and tools for the planning, monitoring, and controlling of all phases of the capital project lifestyle. These include estimating cost and schedule management, risk management, change management, earned in value progressing, and forecasting. Process of measuring project performance. First is schedule variance or the SV. Project management success is often determined by whether or not you kept to the original timeline. If SV is zero, then the project is perfectly on schedule. If SV is greater than zero, the project is earning more value than planned, thus it's ahead of schedule. If SV is less than zero, the project is earning less value than planned, thus it is behind the schedule. Second is the variance or CV. Many executives would rate cost management as one of their highest priorities on a project. So evaluating how you do the project is performing financially is crucial. Compare your current actual spend to what you had budgeted. At this point, if there are variances, look to explain them. You can use the project dashboard to track your actual spend in real time. If CV is zero, then the project is perfectly on budget. If CV is greater than zero, the project is earning more than value than planned, thus it is under budget. If CV is less than zero, the project is earning less than value planned, thus it is over budget. Third is a stakeholder satisfaction. Stakeholder satisfaction is a measurement of stakeholders' perception of a program, project, or initiative. It is measured by asking stakeholders to rate their satisfaction on numerical scale. Your wider team, your stakeholders are essential in getting much of the work done. So if it's worth checking in with them, find out how they are feeling about the project right now and what you could be doing differently. If you notice that stakeholders are not fully supportive, you can put plans in place to engage them thoroughly to try to influence their behavior. Fourth is the quality. A quality review can evaluate whether what you are doing meets the standards set out in your quality plans. Best find out before the project goes too far, as it might be too late to do anything about it then. Quality is simply what the customer or stakeholder needs from the project deliverables by keeping the definition tied to the customer or stakeholder. Quality management can have a narrower focus, which means it is more likely to achieve its goals. Lastly is the schedule performance index. If SPI is 1, then the project is perfectly on schedule. If SPI is less than 1, then the project is behind schedule. If SPI is greater than 1, then the project is ahead of schedule. A well-performing project should have its SPI as close to 1 as possible.
Project schedule. Project schedule is a timetable that organizes project tasks, activity durations, calendar start and end dates, and sets overall project milestones on a timeline. Project schedules also define the team members and resources needed to complete tasks. Project scheduling is fundamental for planning and control in project management. All the work necessary to complete the deliverables is accounted for in the project schedule. It also includes all associated costs and outlined in the project budget. Project schedules are created and tracked with project scheduling software, which has key features that allow project managers to monitor the progress of tasks, resources, and costs in real time. They can go assign work, link dependent tasks, view dashboards, and allocate resources and more. What's included in a project schedule? So project schedules are created during the project planning phase and are crucial to the creation of the project plan. where the schedule plan, schedule baseline, deliverables, and requirements are identified. The project schedule is designed to guide the project team throughout the execution phase of the project. Then, during the execution phase, the schedule baseline is compared against the actual project progress. The following are included in the creation of project schedule. First is deliverables, next is tasks, next is task start and end date, next is start dependencies and project calendar, next is work packages, and then task duration and project timeline. Next is budgets, resource availability, and schedule risk analysis. Project schedule steps. A project schedule is not just a standard timetable that works for every project. There are different project scheduling techniques and project management tools involved in the scheduling process. Also, every project has different resources, timetables, scope considerations, and other unique variables that must be considered in the schedule management plan. These are the steps to create a project schedule. First, create the schedule plan for your project. Second is define who has the authority over the schedule. Third is identify start and end dates for project activities and tasks. Fourth is figure out task dependencies. Fifth is sequence activities and tasks chronologically to create a project calendar. Six is estimate needed resources and resource availability. Seven is determine duration of activities and tasks. Eight is build project schedule. And last nine is monitor and control throughout the project life cycle. So steps to create a project schedule of your own. So first is create the project scope. The, the project scope statement is created during the initial planning. It's a document that contains the specific goals, deliverables, features, budget, and etc. of your project. All of the tasks needed to complete the project successfully are listed here. Second is establish the sequence of tasks. So tasks are the small jobs that lead to the final deliverable. And it's fairly crucial to map out the sequence of those tasks before diving into them. Oftentimes, a task will be dependent on another to start or finish. You don't want to get halfway through a task before you realize you can't complete it due to high objectives. Third is group tasks. Once you've collected your tasks and have them in proper order, you should take the opportunity to divide your tasks by importance. You need to know which is critical to the project and must be done first, and those less important that can be done if there's time. You could use a priority matrix to facilitate this process. Then, break your tasks down with milestones that relate to the five project phases: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and close. Organizing your tasks with milestones make it easier to track progress and gives your team a sense of accomplishments that boosts morale and productivity. Fourth is link task dependencies. Some tasks can be done simultaneously, but some tasks are dependent on others to start or finish before they can start or finish. These task dependencies must be mapped out in your schedule to keep you aware of them, or you risk bottlenecks and blocking your team. So fifth is define the critical path. The critical path is a method for scheduling tasks in a project to find those which are critical to the success of the project. This allows you to make smart choices about tasks that can be ignored if time and cost become constrained. This method is commonly used for schedule risk analysis. And lastly, assign resources. Resource management and project scheduling are closely related. Every task on your schedule should have the related resources and costs associated with completing it. Tasks aren't done on their own, and without mapping the resource availability to each task, you are in danger of going wildly over budget. With resources attached to tasks, you can more accurately plan your team's time and keep their workload balanced.
Example of creating a project schedule using Project Manager. First is initiate your project. Set up the project before you start scheduling. It is initial phase. You set up your schedule plan, budget, resource schedule, and the general time in which you have to produce your final deliverable. Add the budget to create a baseline to compare to what you actually spend when executing the project. Next is define tasks. Project scheduling is all about managing your tasks. As we covered earlier, tasks are similar jobs that lead to your final deliverable. Defining those tasks is the first step towards proper project management. Import a task list from any spreadsheet or use of our built-in templates to get started. Add durations and due dates to those tasks to set them on a timeline on the Gantt chart. It is a useful graphical tool which shows activities or tasks performed against time. It is also known as visual presentation of a project where the activities are broken down and displayed on a chart, which makes it easy to understand and interpret. Block calendar. Projectmanager.com allows you to manage your project calendar in real time. Take note of the dates that your team can or cannot work. These are your holidays, paid time off, and other such dates that must be established before you can create your schedule. Set holidays in the software, both global and local, to know your team's availability. This is most helpful in managing remote teams. Outlining your typical working days is the best first step if you don't have the other information readily available. Next is set task dependency. Avoiding bottlenecks and getting the work done on time are the primary reasons you're surely scheduling your project. You'll want to link dependent tasks to ensure the work flows smoothly. Connect the dependent task in your project by dragging one task on the Gantt onto the other. A line will appear, and from there, you can set what type of dependency these two tasks have. Next is assign team. Teams are your most valuable resource. They do the work that gets the project to the finish line. For optimal efficiency, you need to get the right team member working on the right set of tasks. Assign team members tasks from any of the multiple project views. For further direction, you can attach detailed descriptions, priority levels, and costs associated with tasks to your help team track and complete them.
Monitor progress. Once the schedule is set and the project is in the execution phase, managers will want to stay attuned with what's going on without getting in the way of their team. Tracking project metrics allows you to catch issues and resolve them before they become projects. Get a high-level view of the project with a real-time dashboard. We collect project data on time, cost, workload, or more, and automatically calculate and display it in colorful, easy to read graphs and charts. Adjust plan. Schedules are living documents. As internal and external forces play on a project, you need a fast and easy way to adapt. Being flexible helps you prevent drag and drop tasks to new start or end dates on our online Gantt chart to easily edit your schedule. All changes are instantly reflected throughout the software. Keep stakeholders in the loop. Stakeholders are the people with a vested interest in the project. They need to know what's happening, and keeping them informed of your project progress is one of your key responsibilities. Generate reports on project variance, tasks, and more with a single click. You can quickly filter through results when presenting the report to stakeholders to assist in responding to their questions. So, milestone in project management. A milestone is a marker in a project that signifies a change or stage in development. Milestones are powerful components in project management because They show key events and map forward movement in your project plan. Milestones act as signposts through the course of your project, helping ensure you stay on the track. Without project milestone tracking, you're just monitoring tasks and not necessarily following the right path in your project. Milestones can do more than just show progress. They can help you communicate what's happening with your project.
Project management milestone examples. Milestone makes easier to keep projects on track by calling out major events, dates, decisions, and deliverables. Here are a few examples of project milestones you might include in your plan. First, start and end dates for project phases. Second, key deliveries. Third, client and stakeholder approvals. Fourth, important meetings and presentation. Lastly, key dates or outdates that may impact your timeline. Three specific examples of how using project milestones can benefit your projects. First is monitor deadlines. No plan is ever complete without a list of deadlines. The best way to make them noticeable is to use the project management milestones and deliverable technique. What does this mean? Make the deliverable project milestones. Second, identify potential project bottlenecks. Many projects rely on the work produced by external teams or partners to make forward progress. If you if you're not tracking those external factors somewhere, there's a great chance you'll forget to follow up on it. That's why it is important to list these deliverables as project milestones if you're working on a project that depends on someone or something outside your project. Third is the spotlight important dates. Maybe your team will need to be out of the office for mandatory training. Maybe there's board meeting you're expected to attend. It is important to keep all of these important events in mind when you're planning a project because they could possibly impact your project schedule. In this example, the team's offsite strat up meeting has been added to the project plan as a milestone so work can schedule around it.
Project Status Report. A project status report is a document that summarizes a project's overall progress against the projected project plan. The goal of a project status report is to keep all stakeholders informed of progress, to mitigate issues before they arise, and to ensure that the project will land within the designated time frame. A project status report helps to improve communication across an organization as everyone is kept in the loop on how the project is progressing. It also helps to simplify the communication process with a single, formalized report that everyone can refer to stay up to date. Additionally, a project status report improves the organizational support for your project by maintaining tight communication among team members to ensure all goals and objectives are met. The purpose of project status reports. One of the many one of the many benefits of using a project status report is that it forces an organization to agree to certain project milestones and measures of progress at the very beginning of that project. A project manager gathers those important criteria and creates a project status report that will prove useful to everyone who needs to see it. Types of project status reports. So, project management experts recommended a weekly status report or the WSR for immediate team members and stakeholders, a monthly or bi-monthly status report for high-level managers and stakeholders, and a periodic ultra-high level and status report for CEOs, directors, and others who want to see highlights and top wins. So, first is the weekly project status report. In general, a project manager maintains this report at all times, even before it's due for regular delivery. So if a manager wants to see it, the project manager can provide it within an hour. The usual audiences for this report include the project team members, the project manager, a resource manager, and perhaps the main stakeholder. The goal of the weekly project status report is to give those most involved in the project a thorough view of how the project is progressing. The report tracks and the budget, indicates milestones, enumerate risks, and etc.
Types of project status reports. The monthly project status report. A monthly or bi-monthly project status report can help higher level manager fees engage in control of projects that their project managers are running. This audience doesn't require the same level of with detail that a weekly report does. Higher level managers are interested in tracking the budget, the spend, the quality of deliverables, and the nature of the risks or roadblocks. Note that if a project manager does have a significant risk, setback, or roadblock, they should wait for the monthly report to communicate the problem to their manager. Next is the CEO level project status report. While not every project or company may require this kind of project status report, many project management experts think the CEO level report can be the key to buy in a visibility from the top echelons of a company's management. The monthly team and resources status report. If your company and teams are handling multiple ongoing and overlapping projects, it is also useful to create a separate team and resource status report. The audience for this report includes resource manager, team directors, and other managing various types of resources. This report should capture the work of different resources. It should also indicate when resources are due to roll off or join the project. This report gives resource managers insight into when their members may be devoting more or less hours to your project so they can allocate resources appropriately. The stoplight project had status report. This kind of project status report is gaining popularity as many companies realize that packing endless data points into weekly or monthly reports only burdens the project manager. A wide range of businesses are transitioning to a more simple project status report. This new report visually represents the health of a project by color coding different elements with a traffic light image, green for on budget and on target, yellow for potential risks being posed, and red for true roadblocks, overspending, and the like.
Elements of project status reports. First is project details. So for the project details, list project name and project code if applicable. Next is team. List project manager and other key term members. Status date. For the status date, it also includes cadence, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, and etc. So schedule of project is have you met all of these periods milestones? So next is scope. Has the project stayed in the scope during this period? Next is budget. Is the project on under or over budget? Next is for the quality. So this may not be applicable to every report during every period, but it's worth capturing if there are issues. So the next is dependencies. What factors are the teams waiting on before being able to move forward? Lastly, issues and roadblocks. What roadblocks have come up during this period? Give a brief description of what they are, what you're going to remedy to them, and who owns them. So an example of project status report weekly. That's all. Thank you.